Welcome to KGN Caribbean News. I'm Karesha Graham. Here's what's making headlines in this week's Caribbean Crime Watch. More than a year after gunfire broke out outside a popular night spot in St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda, police have made an arrest. Investigators say 32-year-old Shalom Bailey from Yorks is now charged with murder and attempted murder. The charges stem from a 2024 shooting that left 24-year-old Kevin Vassiani dead and another man seriously hurt outside the Asylum nightclub. Bailey is expected to face a judge as police continue piecing together what led up to that deadly night on Independence Drive. A disturbing incident at sea near San Salvador Island is now under investigation. A 28-year-old woman was stabbed several times aboard a vessel while working as a crew member. The attacker, a 35-year-old man also from South Africa, reportedly jumped overboard right after the assault. He was pulled from the water unresponsive and later pronounced dead on the ship. The woman is recovering, and officials are still trying to piece together what led to the violence. Police in Barbados are investigating the unnatural death of a hotel guest at the Hilton Resort in Needham's Point, St. Michael. The guest's identity has not been released in line with privacy protocols. Officials say the hotel remains open as inquiries continue. Grenadian authorities have sentenced a Boca resident to more than 12 years in prison for a deadly stabbing back in 2022. Investigators say 38-year-old Kelly Penny killed Chris Alfred during an argument in St. George. Penny maintained his innocence, but the court found him guilty, closing a case that's been hanging over the community for nearly 3 years. There's a major break in the case of a missing St. Catherine man. A body found in a shallow grave in Old Harbour is believed to be 43-year-old contractor Humphrey Brown, who disappeared nearly 2 weeks ago. Brown was seen last leaving home late on July 11. Now, two men are behind bars as detectives push forward with a murder investigation. Officials are still working to confirm the identity and the cause of death. Police in St. Kitts and Nevis are renewing their call for help in finding a man wanted for murder. 42-year-old Philip Jones has been on the run since last October, and despite having his face and name shared publicly, no one has come forward. Investigators believe someone knows where he is, and they're now offering a reward of up to 10,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars for information that leads to his arrest. Authorities are urging the public not to stay silent. A businesswoman in Camden Park, St. Vincent, has been shot and killed in what police believe may be tied to an ongoing property dispute. Ranella Browns was sitting outside her shop when two masked gunmen opened fire. She died the next day at the hospital. Police are calling the attack brutal and are urging anyone with information to come forward as the investigation continues. Coming up in sports, tributes pouring in after a St. Lucian footballer star is killed during carnival celebrations. We'll tell you how the sports world is remembering Sherman Augustin. And today's newscast is powered by Luxury Glam Onsley. So if you want your makeup, your hair, brows, or lashes on point, whether you're stepping out bold, bridal ready, or straight up boss babe vibes, Little One, the owner of Luxury Glam Onsley, got you covered. Trust me, this is where the glam magic happens. Hit up the number on your screen to book your glow up or catch all the info on Instagram on your screen. Let's check the political heartbeat of the Caribbean in this week's Politics Pulse. Grenada is one step closer to changing its oath of allegiance. Lawmakers have introduced two bills that would remove references to the British monarch, replacing them with a pledge to the nation itself. Former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell is backing the move, calling it a part of national pride. Legal expert Dr. Francis Alexis also supports the change and says he'll give up his title of King's Counsel if the bill's passed. The legislation is expected to take effect next month. Antigua's and Barbuda government says it had no role in the brief airport detention of former Trinidad and Tobago Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley. Public Safety Minister Sir Stedroy Benjamin says immigration made no request to hold Rowley and no alert was issued by local authorities. A former police commissioner claimed there may have been internal interference but offered no proof. Rowley believes he was flagged on a watch list, but Trinidad's police say his name was never submitted to Interpol. The incident remains unclear as officials on both sides deny responsibility. Jamaica College has welcomed a new trustee to its leadership team. Lowell Campbell is Senior Vice President at Citigroup and proud graduate of the school has been appointed to Jamaica College Trust Board. He steps in for Dr. Peter Weller, who recently retired. Campbell brings decades of experience in banking and compliance along with long history of service through alumni organizations. The Trust Board manages funding for school programs and development, and leaders say Campbell's appointment will strengthen its mission to support future generations. The UK's new High Commissioner to St. Lucia has officially taken up his post. Simon Mustard presented his credentials last week and pledged to strengthen ties across the region. During his visit, he met with Prime Minister Philip Heer and toured a UK-funded highway project focused on climate resilience. Mustard says he is committed to supporting development, security, and sustainability across the Eastern Caribbean. Guyana's President Ifran Ali is pushing back at critics ahead of this year's election, saying opponents may borrow his party's idea but not its leadership. Speaking at a rally, Ali said, "Real progress takes more than a manifesto, it takes experience, action, and results." The election is set for September 1st, and the president is making leadership a key issue on the campaign trail. The United Labour Party is calling for continued support in South Windward as it prepares to introduce a new face on the ballot. Darren Rodan John, a college lecturer, has been chosen to replace outgoing MP Frederick Stephenson in the next general election. MP Jimmy Prince urged voters to stand by the party, saying South Windward has been a Labour stronghold for decades and that loyalty should continue even as leadership changes. St. Kitts and Nevis is making changes to how some criminal trials are handled. Lawmakers have passed a new amendment to the Judge Alone Trials Act, making it easier for certain cases to be heard by a judge instead of a jury. The update lays out when the option applies and allows both prosecutors and defense lawyers to request it in situations like jury tampering or long trial delays. Politics isn't just for politicians, it affects everyone. Keep watching KGN Caribbean News for the latest events as it unfolds across the region. Across the Caribbean, governments are ramping up healthcare initiatives addressing gaps in prevention, infrastructure, and readiness as new challenges emerge. Dozens of forestry officers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are now better equipped to handle emergencies in the field. 27 staff from the Forestry Department and the VEP project have completed advanced training in wilderness and remote first aid. The hands-on course ran over 6 weeks and focused on treating injuries in rugged, hard-to-reach areas where help isn't always nearby. A new sickle cell treatment unit is set to open in Antigua and Barbuda in just a few weeks. The facility will be housed at the old Halberton Hospital site and aims to provide more targeted long-term care for people living with the disease. Health officials say the space is nearly ready and the goal is to offer not just pain relief but better screening, education, and support. A national registry is also in the works to help identify patients and improve how resources are delivered across the country. The Bahamas is moving forward with a new national health insurance bill that aims to expand access to health care. Health officials say the plan will cover key services like cancer screenings and chronic illness treatments with no upfront cost at the point of care. Private insurers say they don't expect major premium changes, and the government hopes the new law will make healthcare more affordable and accessible. Barbados' new maternity leave policy is raising questions among employers. The Barbados Employers Confederation says it supports leave for new fathers, but there is still no clear legislation or written policy outlining how it should work. Some fathers have started applying through the National Insurance Scheme, but business leaders warn the rollout feels rushed and unclear, leaving employers unsure how to move forward. Grenada's government is pushing forward with a new bill focused on children's rights and gender equality, but not without pushback. The legislation includes raising the marriage age to 18 and giving some teens access to health care without parental consent. While officials say the changes are about protection and progress, critics argue they're being rushed and lack public consultation. The bills are still in the early stages of debate. Health experts in Jamaica are sounding the alarm over a silent threat of animals that are being left to rot in public spaces. They say the remains may be carrying harmful bacteria that can seep into the ground and spread illness. Officials are calling for stronger cleanup systems and better public awareness before this environmental hazard turns into a health crisis. Trinidad and Tobago's health ministry is pulling certain Yo Crunch yogurt cups off shelves over fears of plastic contamination. The issue isn't the yogurt itself, but in the dome that holds the toppings. Officials say pieces of plastic may have slipped in during packaging. Affected flavors include vanilla with Oreo, vanilla with Snickers, and strawberry with granola, all with August and September expiration dates. Customers are being asked to stop using them and return the products to the store. This segment of KGN Caribbean News is sponsored by Bellam Natural Skincare, a real Jamaican brand born from the founder's own skin struggles. If you're tired of dark spots, dry patches, or uneven skin tone, these handmade soaps could be your new best friend. They've got some killer combos like kojic acid with vitamin C, turmeric and sea moss, honey, and oats, all natural, all effective. Plus, they ship all across Jamaica, and here's the catch, they also ship internationally. So no matter where you are, you can get in on the glow. Order through the Instagram on your screen or WhatsApp the phone number, which is on your screen as well. Your skin, I go thank you. Take care of your skin, people. Here's what's happening in this week's Caribbean economy. The historic St. John's Police Station in Antigua and Barbuda is back in service after a major facelift. The 19th century building underwent a $2 million renovation, restoring its charm while upgrading key facilities. Officers have now returned to the refurbished space, which includes new holding cells, interview rooms, and modern equipment. Officials say the upgrade honors the station's legacy while creating a better environment for both law enforcement and the public. A brand new airport is on the way for Black Point in Exuma. The government has signed a nearly $18 million contract to build the facility, which will include a full runway, terminal, and customs processing. Construction is expected to start in September and wrapped up in about a year. Leaders say the airport will boost tourism, make travel easier for locals, and help the island better respond to emergencies. A massive transformation is coming to Bridgetown's waterfront in Barbados. The $200 million Pierhead project has officially launched, bringing new shops, housing, a maritime museum, and even water taxis to the area. Prime Minister Mia Mottley says this isn't just about economic returns, it's about creating opportunities for people and preserving the city's rich heritage. The project is expected to revitalize the capital and create long term jobs for Barbadians. Today marks the start of a major trade forum in Grenada, bringing Africa and the Caribbean to the same table. The Afro Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum is now underway in St. George's, with leaders pushing to turn cultural ties into real economic growth. Trade between the two regions is still small, but experts believe billions in opportunity are on the line, especially in food, minerals, and creative industries. A brand new bus route is now connecting Mandeville to Kingston. The Jamaica Urban Transit Company rolled out Route 512 this week, offering 3 daily trips in each direction. Riders can expect affordable fares, smart fare discounts, and a smoother commute via the East West Highway. Transport officials say the new route is part of a wider push to improve access between rural towns and the capital. Angostura is preparing for a major leadership shakeup. The company has called a special meeting for August 6th where shareholders will vote on a new board of directors. A six-person slate is on the table, led by former government minister Gary Hunt. The move signals a push to reset corporate direction at one of Trinidad and Tobago's most iconic brands. St. Kitts and Nevis is backing a regional push to strengthen trade within the Caribbean. During a recent CARICOM summit, Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Denzel Douglas highlighted the need to rely less on outside markets and instead source more goods from countries like Guyana, which is already self sufficient in food production. He says bulk buying from the regional suppliers could cut costs, improve food access, and make smaller islands more resilient in the face of global disruptions. Welcome to the KGN Sports Zone, where island athletes shine. The Caribbean football community is mourning the loss of Sherman Augustin, a 22-year-old national midfielder who was fatally stabbed during carnival celebrations in St. Lucia. Augustine played for Grosseles and previously suited up for Grenadines FC in Antigua, earning a reputation as a rising star with heart, skill, and leadership. Officials from both St. Lucia and Antigua have shared public tributes calling his death a tragic loss, not just for the teams he played on, but for the future of Caribbean. Two of the Caribbean's top sprinters stole the spotlight at the London Diamond League. St. Lucia's Julien Alfred blazed to a professional best in the 200 meters, clocking 21.71 seconds and setting a new meet record in the process. Her performance now ranks among the fastest in history. Jamaica's Oblique also delivered storming past a stacked field in the men's 100 meters to win in 9.86 seconds. Both athletes are sending a strong message ahead of the World Championships. Cricket legend Sir Clive Lloyd is being celebrated in a big way. A section of England's Old Trafford Stadium now carries his name, honoring his decades of impact on the game. Lloyd spent nearly 20 years with Lancashire and led the West Indies through their golden era, including two World Cup wins, West Indies captain Hayley Matthews is racking up global honors once again, earning the ICCS Players of the Month award for June. It's her fourth time taking home the title, putting her in elite company as one of the most decorated women in the game. Matthews dominated both the T20 and ODI series against South Africa, leading in runs and making big plays with the ball. That's it for this week's edition of KGN Caribbean News. I'm Karesha Graham. See you next week right here where vibes meets truth and every island will eventually get the spotlight.